Hi, friends. Welcome back to Midweek Encouragement. Question for you. What is your biggest fear? Some people say, speaking in public, I think everybody has a fear of some sort of another. Maybe it's heights. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's falling. I don't like spiders and snakes, and that ain't what it takes to love me. Maybe it's mice and bugs or something like that. There's a fear of rejection, and it seems as if every fear also is called a phobia. But maybe our greatest fear is the fear of failure. We fear it so much that we refuse to even try. I've often said maturity is no longer blaming anyone else for where we are in life, but it's taking responsibility. And the problem many face is this fear that says, if I try and fail, it's my fault. But the rest of the story is, if we fail to try, it is also our fault. Not every decision we make is the right decision. But we can always make adjustments to ourselves. God didn't give us the ability to always make the right decisions. We tend to mess up. But God has given us the ability to make the wrong ones right. Our life shouldn't be an apology or an excuse, but it should display an attitude of trying. We don't have failures. We have attempts that we learn from. Great ideas come from experience, and I've learned that experience is a great teacher. God has been reminding me of the story of Esther over the last several days. And there are a couple of verses that really stand out in the story. A quick recap of the story. King Xerxes has fired his queen and he needs a new one. Uncle Mordecai has been raising his niece Esther. He suggests that she apply for the position. She gets the job. And remember in Galatians 6:9, so let us not get tired of doing what is good. At the right time we'll reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Well, Mordecai was practicing that before Paul ever wrote it down. Doing right doesn't always make everyone happy. Someone once told me, if you stood on your head and spit out quarters, somebody would complain. Haman, the villain in the book of Esther, was mad because Mordecai refused to bow down to him, and he develops this plot to kill Mordecai and the rest of the Jews. Um, he even gets that signed into a law that the Jews are going to end up dying. Not only Mordecai, but all the Jewish people, which would include the new queen. Mordecai and Esther begin sending messages to each other, and he says to her, maybe you are in the position of queen for such a time as this. You need to go talk to your husband, the king. But he hasn't called for me, she says. So she asks all of her friends and gets Mordecai to ask all of the other Jewish people to begin to fast and pray. And when the 3 days of fasting and praying have passed, she says, I'm going to go, and if I perish, I perish. If I fail, I fail. But I'm going to do what is the best of everybody. It's in the best interest of everybody. So she takes this big risk, and the long story short, she saves her people. And the villain, well, let's just say he found himself hanging by the end of his rope. Could it be that God has created you for such a time as this, so that you could step forward, even though it is risky and scary, but it will make a difference for many? If we constantly live in our past or our mistakes, we can't move forward. It doesn't matter what people call us, it only matters what we answer to. You can't change the past. The problem is your past was in your hands, but the good news is the future is also in your hands. Your past does not determine your future. It doesn't determine your destination. When things don't go as planned, do as the GPS used to say, recalculating and change directions. Thomas Edison didn't have 10,000 failures. He found 10,000 things that just don't make light bulbs. Failures are opportunities for growth. Failures are lessons we learn along the path, and we can use them to help others avoid them if we will tell them. Remember, there's no law against the fruit of the Spirit. Go for it. You don't have to ask permission to love. You don't have to ask permission to be patient, to be kind, or any of the rest of them. Just do it all for the glory of God and the love of Jesus in you going out to others. Thank you, friends.